Here's why Tiny Bookshop is smashing the Nintendo eShop sales charts, and why it might just be your next favourite cozy game. 2 weeks post-release, Tiny Bookshop has climbed to the top of the eShop's bestseller list. And no, it's not a fast-paced action game or a big-budget AAA title. Nope, it's a quiet, charming, storybook-style indie game about running a mobile bookshop in a sleepy little town. So, what's going on? Today, we are going to be diving into Tiny Bookshop on the Nintendo Switch, a game all about slow mornings, heartfelt chats, and the joy of finding the right book for the right person. I'll break down how it plays, how it feels, what it looks like, what it sounds like, and whether or not it's worth the $17.99 price tag. So, let's open up these pages and see what makes this little game such a gem. So, what exactly do you do in Tiny Bookshop? You play as someone who leaves behind a fast-paced city life to start a small mobile bookshop in a small coastal town being towed on the back of your car. For an introduction to a cozy simulation game, it's got all the markers for a relaxing, peaceful playthrough. But the magic really sits in your daily interactions with your customers, those new and those returning, who not only fund your nomadic lifestyle, but also offer small tasks such as rearranging furniture or finding items, which the game itself will automatically track and log all completed and uncompleted. Now for the gameplay loop. Each day you drive your van to a new spot on the map, parks, piers, quiet alleyways, and open up shop for the day. Literally, you manually open up the shop each day, and it's oddly satisfying. You have a limited number of shelves and selection of genres: fiction, children's stories, romance, sci-fi, and more. All real titles we know and love, and whilst not essential information whatsoever, it does enhance the game a little having knowledge of the literature. Your goal is to match books to the preferences of your local customers and listen to their stories. That's where Tiny Bookshop shines, in the conversations. Customers often return, and slowly, through little fragments of dialogue, you learn more and more about the town, the people, and even yourself. The customers will occasionally come to you with very specific requests, in which you will be given a clue as to which book they want. You will cycle through your stock, trying to find the best match, based off either your knowledge or the small blurbs given on the interface. Choosing the perfect book will leave your customer happy and more likely to make additional purchases, and potentially will unlock new side content with that customer. But if you happen to fail miserably, don't worry, it will happen and there's no punishment. There's no looming failure state, they will just leave and come back another time. There is a lot of trial and error, and learning your customers' tastes becomes a huge part of the game. At day's end, you will get a genre staple daily breakdown of sales and tasks, but your shift isn't over there. Now you must restock your inventory, and this is done through the local marketplace, where you will purchase new stock in a variety of ways, either boxes of random books, or genre and author specific bundles. Think loot boxes with no real downside. You can also purchase equipment for your shop here, such as coolers and coffee machines. Outside of this, you can open up the town map and see the different locations, more of which open up as you progress through the game. Different locations are better for certain books and genre sales, and it's all about learning when and where to sell the books you stock up on through these loot crates. This game very much suits small sessions of pick up and play for 30 to 60 minutes at a time, but I just couldn't put the game down. A good sign, I guess. It will suit all playstyles, but with hindsight, I probably would have enjoyed the experience more by prolonging it into smaller sessions. But in reality, what does it really matter? A good game is a good game. I score the core gameplay 16 out of 20. On Nintendo Switch, Tiny Bookshop feels great. Whether you are docked or in handheld mode, the controls are intuitive. Navigating menus, arranging your book inventory, and chatting with customers all feel smooth and low stress. There's a small learning curve at first, mostly in how the inventory system works, but once it clicks, it becomes second nature. The performance is rock solid. Load times are short and the game runs without hiccups. No crashes, no serious bugs, just a quiet, stable experience. It was never going to be the most demanding of projects, but you can tell the devs took their time with optimizing it for the Switch. If you're playing it in handheld, the text is readable, though if you're sensitive to small fonts, you might want to check with the accessibility settings where you can tweak things for comfort. There is not too much to judge or criticize. The art style is inoffensive and the performance is as you would expect from this type of project. There are minor changes that could be made to the interface at times, just to streamline the experience, but overall it's solid. I give the feel and the look of the game 15 out of 20. Let's talk sound, because in Tiny Bookshop, the music and atmosphere are absolutely key to the experience. The soundtrack is soft, cozy, but never intrusive. Acoustic guitars, gentle pianos, and ambient textures. You'll probably find yourself humming along without even realising it, but it isn't quite memorable enough to be annoying your partner with the next day. Each area has a slightly different background music, but the tone remains consistent throughout, peaceful, melodic, and always emotionally grounded. The ambient sound design is just as strong. Waves on the shore, birds in the trees, and distant conversations. It all adds depth to the world. There's no voice acting, but the dialogue still feels alive thanks to great writing and well-placed audio cues. Overall, the sound is appropriate and catchy and never subtracts from the experience, but it never quite hits the heights of that winter theme from Stardew Valley or Megalovania from Undertale. I give the sound 14 out of 20. So how much does Tiny Bookshop actually pull you in? That depends on what you value in a game. If you are someone who loves structure, story, and a sense of gentle momentum, it really works. There's a narrative thread that unfolds over time, with returning customers who grow, change, and reveal more about themselves and yourself. There is somewhat meaningful progression, new van upgrades, new locations to unlock, and more inventory management options. You're never quite standing still, just moving at your own pace with no real risk of failure. The lack of hard goals might not appeal to everyone. There is no boss level, no failure state, and no game over screen. But for players who enjoy relaxing games with a meditative quality, that's a really big part of the charm. It took me around 15 hours to finish the main story, and to go the full distance, unlocking every location, upgrading everything, and completing all side stories, you are looking about 25 hours total, and that's with no grinding, just relaxing, day by day progress. I could definitely see myself coming back to Tiny Bookshop at some point, but the game maybe lacks somewhat in replayability. There is no real sandbox mode to the game, and very much has an expiry date with its current content. But this isn't necessarily a detraction. At £17.99, if you can get 20 plus hours of enjoyment out of it, that is an absolute bargain. In a world where a large meal McDonald's will cost you £12 plus, you really can't grumble at what's on offer here. I give the pull of the game 16 out of 20. Is Tiny Bookshop worth picking up on the Nintendo Switch? If you're after a calm, cozy, and emotionally rich experience, one that lets you slow down and just enjoy the small moments, even with the lack of challenge and limited narrative choice from the player's perspective, it's absolutely worth a playthrough. If you're judging this book by its cover, don't worry, it's well worth the read. I give Tiny Bookshop a quick switch rating of 76%. Thanks for watching. If this review helped you out, drop a like and subscribe for more reviews, eShop sales and general Switch news. And let me know down in the comments, will you be setting up your bookshop anytime soon? Until next time, happy reading, stay cozy, and I'll see you around.